Your buddy Scott, and we're going live from a very special location. I'm live in Leonardo, New Jersey, down the block from the Quick Check, but in front of the haunted Dempsey house. Now, it's allegedly haunted. I've done a couple videos on this place, but I've never gone live from here, and I know it's a beautiful sunny day here in New Jersey, and it doesn't seem too spooky, but wait till I get out of the car and show you this place. I even brought my Mel meter today, just to document any possible anomalies that we might come across. So let's get over here, let's get out of the car, and let's check it out. Here we go. The haunted Dempsey house, Leonardo, New Jersey. Let's check this place out. I've lived in my hometown here for 36 years or so. And this place, ever since I could remember getting told ghost stories, has always been on the radar. Here it is. It is now what they call condemned. And it's pretty awesome. Uh-oh. Thought the cops were coming over. They didn't. A lot of people will get kicked out of this place because they try to get inside. I wouldn't recommend that if you ever come here. So, it's made out of something called peanut stone, which is locally sourced here, and I think pretty much like only here. So you can see this is the stone right here. It's pretty interesting. Now, there's a lot of neat stories about this place. Some of them are not as neat as others. In Weird, New Jersey, they document that there's a photograph taken right out here in the front where one of these trees has a ghost noose hanging from the front, where allegedly a police officer went inside and found something so horrific that he came outside, got rope from his own vehicle, and hung himself to death in this front yard. Now, if that doesn't spin some lore, I don't know what would. What's wild is we are live, and I think that my phone must be giving off an insane amount of EMF because my Mel meter is going crazy, but that's okay. We're going to get a little bit closer to this place and check it out. I'll keep it in the background so you can see it. So, folks, anytime you're out and you're going to a place, there's a couple things that you got to remember. One, be respectful of wherever you're going. Two, if you see a red X like that on the building, that means that it's condemned and you should absolutely not go inside. What's up, everybody? It's nice to see you there. I'm outside the allegedly haunted Dempsey house here in Leonardo, New Jersey. Now, this place is a completely stone structure. The interior, from when I remember being a kid and we could go inside, had wooden floors, a lot like what the wooden doors are made out of here. But now it's all filled up with water in the bottom, so I don't think that there's any access, and I wouldn't go inside anyway because that could be very dangerous, and we're not looking to be in danger. So let's take a little walk around the house and check the property out. And I'll tell you a little bit about some of the folklore of this house. Hey, what's up, Vegas? How are you? So, the lore for this house is that Mr. Dempsey was a local butcher. And he went a little bit crazy. One day he came home, he walked in the front door, and he annihilated his entire family. It wasn't until days later that the police were called to do a welfare check, and they found the gruesome scene with Mr. Dempsey dead himself from a self-inflicted wound. Now, is that true? I've looked. I couldn't find anything. But that doesn't mean that there isn't something spooky happening here. There's a couple different versions of that story, and quite honestly, they're all pretty horrific and pretty scary. But I think actually what happened is that the Dempseys were one of a very few wealthy families that helped found this town, and they had a home over here and they owned a bunch of property, and I think what they did was build this house for their kids to play in. So they built their kids, instead of like you and I who are regular human beings with middle class parents, we might have gotten a tree fort. They got an entire stone structure dedicated to them. So that's pretty interesting. You've heard that story before, but it wasn't in New Jersey. Yeah, this is definitely here in New Jersey. It's in the Weird New Jersey magazine. If you ever want to look that up, you can find it. It's online as well. And you could see the township workers do a good job. They keep this place nice and boarded up to keep people out, which is important because people do like to go in here. One of the interesting things about this place is just like the amazing lore that comes with it. It's still standing here. The residents around it have all been built up and everything's been annihilated. But, annihilated, I used that word again. Everything here has been taken down, and even there was a beautiful home across the street where these houses are. It was like this big white Victorian house, and I'll tell you what, that thing was spooky because it had like 4 windows, and it was like in the woods. It was creepy, so it was really interesting. Thanks very much. I like to talk a lot about the cool stuff here in New Jersey, and especially some of the history and the things that I know of. And with gas prices being what they are, I don't have to go too far further than my own town because we have plenty. Now, look at the really neat. Like, why would they do this? Check this out. I'm gonna get a little bit further away. Check this place out here. Look at this. Why would they build this structure this way? It looks like a mausoleum, right? Like, that just seems spooky for no reason. And at nighttime, this place gets a lot creepier looking. Unfortunately, I have work tonight, and I couldn't come out during the evening time. But look at how they structured this. It looks like a mausoleum, right? So look at the top. It has these points like, oh, we put bodies in here, right? But it's just the basement cellar access to. I am in Leonardo, New Jersey. Most famously, I think Leonardo, New Jersey is known for Kevin Smith filming Clerks, which is, I don't know, about a half a mile away from here at the Quick Stop. So what I'm going to do is, I am going to, are there 2 entrance spots? Yep, I'll show you that. There are 2 pillars over here, yep. You can see it. That's the stone fence that goes all the way around this place. Interesting, right? And that's the two things right there. So when you look on Weird New Jersey, that's the thing, that's the photograph that you see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Mel meter up over here. And we'll see what happens. Away from the phone, and I'll let you know if it registers anything. And what I'm going to do also is I brought my other phone that has an Ovilus on it. And I'm going to run the Ovilus as well. At least I think I brought it. So, if anybody gets anything creepy from this house, please do me a favor and let me know. I'm all about hearing some creepy stories, or if you're a medium or psychic and you pick something up from this place, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. What's up, Nicole? How are you? I did bring my other phone. Excellent. If you like what you're seeing and you like spooky adventures, even if it's during the day, do me a favor and give this video a like and a share. I appreciate it. So what I have here is my my old Note, and it has EchoVox app loaded onto it. And we're going to run that and see if we get any voices. Let's see what... Is there anybody here with us? House. Said house. I'll be back at the Shanley Hotel April 9th for an event. Is Mr. Dempsey here? Are there any spirits here who would like to communicate? Donna says, I'm in Dempsey. Where's that at? Leonardo, New Jersey. My name is Scott. I don't know if you get many visitors here during the day. I have a device here that you can walk up to and use if you like. Just walk up to it and say your name. I feel like somebody said, hi, Scott. The house on the corner? You put that in a different compartment? It's saying a lot of full sentences, which is very rare. Are any of the Dempseys here? Yes. Over. Do you have any messages you'd like to say? What's interesting about a location like this is that it's been around forever, so who knows what could have happened in this house prior to them boarding it up and closing it off. Do you have a message for anybody? Do you like people visiting you here? Are there any ghosts here? Was there ever any murders here? Sounds like they said yes. That was weird. Many, right? That's weird, right? Do any of the original occupants live here? Yes. Money, you keep your money. Hi, Jen. Should bring Jen here. She's a great medium. Should we bring more ghost hunters here to the Dempsey house? The basement? Do you hear the basement? While I'm standing here, my stomach is getting like really hot, and I feel like somebody's pushing me in the stomach. Do you get many visitors during the day? Video? They're saying video? You heard of Rachel? Jack Dempsey? Is there a Jack Dempsey here? I don't know who Jack Dempsey is, it said. I'm in New Jersey. I'm in Leonardo, New Jersey at the haunted Dempsey house. And I'll show you the house. I'll go out to the street in a little while and you can get a bigger view of what it looks like. Also, you can check out my Instagram. I'll take a couple pictures and post it up there for everybody to see the full scope of the house. Is there anybody here that would like to pass a message? I'm going to slow it down a little bit and see what happens. This house is in Leonardo, New Jersey. Supposedly, the owner, Mr. Dempsey, came home one day and murdered his entire family and then himself. A police officer came here to do a welfare check. It was so horrific, the scene that he saw, that he came outside and he hung himself on one of these trees. And if you go on weirdnewjersey.com and look up the Dempsey house, you can see a photograph somebody took with a noose still hanging out of the tree. It's very interesting. The chatter in the background is this. It's a phone app called EchoVox. And it is one of the best ghost hunting tools that, in my opinion, somebody could use. Run, run. Yes, I heard that too. Now we're here during the day. Imagine what this place is like at night without the traffic driving through here. Is there anybody still here from the Dempsey family? What message would you like to pass to everybody? You want to go around the side of the house, everybody? I don't know. There might have been a Rebecca. I'll have to look up and see what other family member names that there were, and I'd be happy to do it because that's a part of the research of everything, right? So let's go over by this creepy basement entrance, and let's camp out here for a minute and see if we find anything, okay? So we'll hang out right here. All right. I'm by the basement. Is anybody here? Basement. They would mortuary? Oh, maybe they use the basement to put bodies in, like at the Shanley. Hey, Scott, did you hear that? Are any of the Dempseys here? Would you like to come out and speak with us? You guys hearing anything interesting or what? I'm at the haunted Dempsey house here in Leonardo, New Jersey, waving to the neighbors. I see you, it said. Scott. Tell him I said hi, he's very handsome. I look like somebody's nephew. I got that kind of face. William Harrison Dempsey. Awesome. Something just tapped on your elbow? Let's get a little creepier, shall we? Let's get into the shadows. Oh. I feel like I'm at a medieval castle. Attachment? Passenger? I moved back into this corner, and it feels like the Ovilus went even crazier. The app I'm using is called EchoVox. It's available on both platforms, iOS and Android also. Could Mr. Dempsey come out and speak with me? Deep breath. Yep. Did you hear that? Messages? Careful. What should we be careful of? What should we be careful of? Yeah, I can slow it down. Sorry, I'm operating with one hand here. Alright, slowed it down. Repulsed, right? Were there ever spiritual attacks with death here? I heard I'm her other half, her husband. Breath keeps coming through. Chase. Is that her? What are you folks hearing? Witch, just leave is a threat. Chase. Wow, crazy. Now, we do have some tales of witches in this town, so I wouldn't doubt if I was a witch, this is where I would come. This house looks like a witch house. Are there any witches here? Do any witches want to come out and speak? Be careful. What are the witches' names? What are the witches' names? Most heavy. Yep, I want to hear a name. Can anybody give me a name out here, please? Easy. I'm not getting any names. Emma or Elma or Stella? Okay. Help us. This is so interesting. I've never done this at this house before. So you all are witnessing it first. Again, I've lived here my whole life. And Edward just came through. I've never used an ovulus at this house. Make no mistake. Sounds like there are many people talking at once. So the ovulus, the Echovox, kind of sounds like that. But it's saying a lot of words I've not heard before. And actually, let's do something interesting. Let's reverse everything. Fly. There's a lot of flies here. It's interesting it said that. Fly. Fly. It keeps saying fly, and there's lots of flies here. Float. Follow. Statues. Is there anybody here that would like to talk to us right now? What's interesting is that I keep hearing whispering over the loud voices. Should we stop with the ovulus and do some EVPs? Give me some hearts and thumbs and likes for EVP work. Let's see if we can get some EVPs out here. What do you think? What's up, Brooke Ann? How are you? All right, we're going to stop the ovulus and we're going to do some EVPs and see if we can get. All right, so for anybody interested, what I was just using was called the Echovox app. The first time I ever saw this used was by a complete stranger at the Shanley Hotel. A voice came through this gentleman's Echovox app, and it said my entire name. So that's when I decided that maybe there are some apps out there worth their salt. So let's get a voice recorder going. I actually brought an actual voice recorder, but I'll just use my phone for now. How's everybody liking this feed so far? I'd like to do more of it when I can. I'm going to wait for the car sound to stop and then I'm going to go ahead and do try the south of the property. So let's see. I'm actually in the south of the property right now. As a matter of fact, if I turn that way, behind me is the bay, and that heads towards New York, which is true north. So this is actually true south. Hi, my name is Scott. I'm using a voice recorder, and I was wondering if maybe you'd like to come over and say hello and tell me your name. All right, let's see.
Hi, this is Scott. I'm doing an EVP session in my home.
Oh no, it's not the right one. Where'd it go? Oh, it's waiting. Dang it. All right, we'll do a different one because that one's not working. Hi, my name is Scott. I'm standing outside your house here at the Dempsey house. I wanted to know if anybody could come out and tell me their name, or maybe just say my name back. Let's see. All right, let's see if we got anything. I like doing the burst sessions. I used to do them, like run a recorder for 8 hours straight and listen back, but man, that is tedious. So let's see. Hi, my name is Scott. I'm standing outside your house here at the Dempsey house. I wanted to know if anybody could come out and tell me their name, or maybe just say my name back. Did you guys hear that? If anybody could come out and tell me their name, or maybe just say my name back. I don't know. It sounds like something's in there. All right, let's do it. Let's do another one. We'll see what happens. So I saw somebody comment on the masonry work here at the Dempsey house. Yeah, it's made of peanut stone, which is really pretty local to where I am, from what I understand. If you were to drive around Leonardo, New Jersey, you'd see a bunch of columns made of this stuff. We have an entire church down the road made from this stuff. It's very interesting. And what could lend to more paranormal activity than specialized stone? So I think it's made of like rock pulled out of the riverbed, but it looks like there's probably some quartz and stuff in there as well. Like right here's some quartz. Where's my fingers? That's quartz. So that means that there's probably a lot more in there. And what could lend to more paranormal activity than quartz being inside of a building, right? All right, let's go back to record. Wait for the cars to pass and see what happens. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. My name is Scott. I am a medium here in New Jersey. I just decided that it was a nice day to come outside and do a live and come to one of my favorite local spots, the Dempsey house. The last 2 times I came to you live, I was at the Spy House, which is probably about 8 miles to the right, so east of here. So that's pretty neat. We have all these really cool haunted locations. All right, it's quiet. Let's go. Can anybody come out and say hello to me? I'd appreciate it if you can just come up, run right up to me and yell. Just give it a good old holler. All right, let's see what we got. This is why I need a cameraman. I need a second person to help me. Check. Play. Let's see. Can anybody come out and say hello to me? I'd appreciate it if you can just come up, run right up to me and yell. Just give it a good old holler.
All right, let's see what we got.
Yeah, just the birds. Just the birds out here. So one of these days I'll have to come out here during the nighttime and do this. It'll be a lot of fun. How's everybody doing today? If you're enjoying this, let me know. Let's do another walk around and show people who just joined what we're doing here. You know what's interesting is I haven't been near the Mel meter, and I guess the Mel meter's probably about at least 5 feet from where I am right now. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but it's reading a 13.1. Which is really interesting because there shouldn't be any power coming to this place. I'm going to take a walk around and see if there's any power lines. All the power here in Leonardo is above ground, so there shouldn't be any power coming into this house whatsoever. So we really shouldn't be getting any kind of power reading at all. Right, because usually condemned buildings don't have power coming to them because they want to keep them as safe as possible until they knock the structure down. Oh, creepy, there's a hole there. Alright, so I restarted the Mel meter to see what would happen, and now it's... Whoa. Alright, speeding. Don't speed, folks. You don't need to be a ghost too. Let's put it up here. Yeah, there's no power coming to this house whatsoever. So I put the Mel meter up here, and it's away from my phone. Let's see what it stays at as I back away from it, and I'll show it to you. So it's fluctuating up and down. It's at a 3, 5.2, 3, 0.3, 0.6. So that's really odd behavior for a device like that because the phone will affect it to some degree, especially when you're close to it. But I'm far enough away where it shouldn't really be bothering it. So it's at 1.1 and it's staying there now. So let's see what happens. 1.2. And I think that it's important that when we're doing paranormal investigations that we take in all of the different factors that could be affecting our gear. Now the Mel meter was specifically built to pick up paranormal activity, I suppose, EMF in particular, and give us an accurate readout of the milligauss around it. Why an old house with no power going to it is sitting steadily at 1.2 is beyond me, because all of the power is above ground, and that's a power line over there. But there's no power coming to this building, so we really shouldn't be picking anything up. It's at a 3.5. Hey, if there's somebody here and you know how to work that machine, can you do me a favor and make it spike up? Can you make those numbers go up? So it went 2.3, 2.4. Let's pull the phone back a little bit. 0.4, 0.3. Can you make those numbers go up? If there's somebody standing here with us, can you touch that box? It won't hurt you. Just reach out and touch it. Now that I put the camera on it, it's funny. It's not really doing anything. Isn't that something? Can you make it go to a 1? 1.0? Now it's not doing anything. How weird. So it seems like something... I literally turned the phone around and it jumped up to a 4.4. Okay, can you do it again? Can you make it go... Now it's dipping again. Why would the camera angle affect... Now it's at a 0. Can you make it go up, please? I literally turned the camera facing the Mel meter and it stopped doing anything. This thing won't let... Oh, it will let me zoom. Son of a gun. Thanks for telling me. All right, so look, it's sitting at a 0, okay? Now, what I'm telling you is that I turned the camera around and it shot up. Why exactly would the camera being off of it affect that? Yeah, so if you're wondering, I'm really pretty far away from that. I couldn't even reach it with my arm, so there's about another 3 to 4 feet between the end of my hand and where the Mel meter is. So I'm going to turn this around away from the Mel meter, okay? And see what happens. It's not doing anything. It's just went to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. I'm going to trick it. I'm going to trick it. You guys got to be here for this. I'm going to trick it. It's at a 0.5, 0.8. Okay, you guys saw it wasn't moving. All right, and we're going to be fast about this. Here we go. It's at a 0.5. Let's go. You guys saw the numbers. You guys saw the numbers move. You had to have. The angle shouldn't affect it. That's what I'm saying. So it's like something is absolute. It just went up. It just went up again. It just went up again. It's going up again. As soon as I turn the camera around on it, it goes to 0. That shouldn't happen. It should not happen. So listen, I don't think that you could push that all the way up. I don't think you could push it up higher than a 1. It's climbing right now. I'm going to turn around and get it. Come on, you can't push it up further than a 2. I bet you couldn't push it to a 2 if you wanted to. Could you? Now look, it's climbing. It's at a 0.7 right now, 0.4. It knows. It like knows my game now. This is crazy, guys. No, so I don't think that the phone battery should affect it because I'm not close enough. It's not close enough. I use this machine all the time with phones in proximity, and it just doesn't act that way. Now, if I got the phone really close to it, yeah, for sure. Now it's at a 0.7. This is interesting to me. This is part of paranormal investigation. Why would the phone affect it this far away? 1. 2, is there something intelligently watching me as I'm standing here and I'm just not perceiving it? Look, can you please just do me a favor? All these people want to see you do the trick with the millimeter, which is what you're playing with right now. So it keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down. But specifically, look, there it is. I put the camera on it. Now it went back down to a 0. 145 people just saw that. Okay? Now I'm going to turn around. You have to see. Oh, that's too close. Too close. Okay. And I turned it back. So I don't know, folks. It's just strange. It's just strange to me. They're definitely playing with me. Oh my gosh. That is so weird. It's at a 4.1 right now. I looked away and it jumped up. I looked away and it jumped up. Okay? This is the most insane, crazy stuff. I'm not trying to give you guys a... It's at a 2.8 right now. And there's almost no way for me to prove it. And anytime I even think about turning the phone around, the damn thing goes down again. This is the wildest stuff I've ever seen. I don't know. Yes, and that's the most... It's paranormal. It's supernatural. It's the unknown. It's something that I absolutely love about being in this field is I don't have any of the answers. I think I have some. I don't have one for this one. It's so strange. Hey, can you make that... flip? Yeah, it won't let me flip. Let me see. That's the share button. Let's see. No, now it's not doing anything. It stopped moving at all. We're going to move away now. We're going to walk away. This defeats the phone doing it premise because I walked away and it started climbing up. So there's definitely something happening here. I hate to say that I think that there's something paranormal for sure happening here, but that's for sure paranormal or supernatural. Let's take a little walk away from there. There's a structure over here I didn't know existed. It looks like basements down to a downstairs area. Like, I don't know what it is. I never actually walked this far over on the property before. Oh, what is this? Oh, gross. Look at this. And that's why we don't go inside houses we're not sure of, because that looks like it probably goes in the basement also, or to some underground area and it's completely flooded. Yeah, it's like it's reading my mind, right? Now I'm really far away and it's at a 4. And now as I look at it, it's dropping back down. So my eyesight, my eye line should not affect what it's doing. And I'm far away from it. So certainly, let's see here. Come on. Nah, it's not going to let me get that close. I'm at the Dempsey house in New Jersey. And we are just having a little bit of fun with the house, trying to figure out what's happening here. I have a millimeter set up, and I was just trying to see what it would affect it. And now that I'm getting nice and close to it, of course, the numbers are going right up. But that's as I get close to it, right? So I know that the phone being live and broadcasting will do that. But from 8 feet away, it really should have no effect, especially out here in the openness. So that's really interesting. So y'all were just a part of something very interesting where every time I looked away or pointed the camera away, the millimeter numbers went up. But as soon as I turned toward it, it was like something intelligently was walking away from it in order not to be seen on camera. So that was really interesting, and I appreciate everybody who's here helping me out with that. So, how do you guys like this so far? Is this a lot of, you guys like this as part of my Haunted New Jersey series I'm doing here? I don't know when the house was built, actually. I have to look that up. There's a very good chance that it was built in the 30s. You can look up the history of this place on, I think on Weird New Jersey they have a bunch of the history. Yeah, the photon split experiment. That's exactly what I was thinking. That is just basically that if you look at something, just the act of perceiving it can change its what it's doing, whether it's sitting still or moving. So that's a really interesting thing, and it ties into quantum mechanics and all that stuff with ghost hunting. So there may be something to that, right? So this is a lot of fun. I like doing this. Yeah, definitely check it out. Is that house older than being... I don't know. I have no idea when the house was built. I did not do my due diligence on this one. I knew everything about the spy house because I've been there a million times. This one is more like the spooky place that you come at night with your friends, walk around it for a couple minutes, and then leave before anybody comes to kick you off or get you in any trouble. But I'm here in the broad daylight, and I'm an adult, so, you know, nobody's calling and trying to get rid of me. I am getting some funny looks, though, because the people who live here are either afraid of this place or think that everything is nonsense about it being haunted. So far, it's not disappointing me in the way that there are some supernatural things happening. So that's interesting. And I hope that it's not disappointing you. I hope you're having a lot of fun with me here. Let's do something fun. Let me see if I can... I'm going to sit my big butt down here on this on these steps and see what happens. I'll set the millimeter up on a little post here. We'll turn it back on. Okay, the millimeter's on, and it's sitting on a corner here. I'm just going to sit... Ooh, I felt like something tapped my phone. Like something tapped the phone out of my hand. That was interesting. Any rituals performed at that house? Yeah, I think that there might have been, because I know this place was open for a while where you could just kind of sneak in. And the 80s was kind of a wild time from what I understand. I was only a kid then. But this town had a lot of problems with people doing weird stuff like that. And, you know, hence Weird New Jersey. Hey, Dana Rosa, how are you? Nice to see you there. Hi, everybody. My name is Scott. I am a medium, and I am hanging out at the very haunted Dempsey house here in Leonardo, New Jersey. If you like this kind of content and you'd like to see more, do me a favor. Give me a follow and a share, and let your friends know that you're doing something spooky in the middle of the day. You should be working, but you're not. You're hanging out with me, and I appreciate that more than you doing your job. I'll go on record as saying that. Yeah, Melissa's a local here, so she knows her ex has been in here, and I think that a lot of people have. Unfortunately, by the time I was old enough to come exploring in a place like this, the floors inside had already rotted out, and I was not about to come inside and have some kind of scary BS happen. Working while listening, I love that. Update on, the baby crib story. So if anybody's been listening to my Black Mist House series, yeah, so I talked to the mother-in-law, and basically what I told that family at the Black Mist House was that they should not be talking about the paranormal stuff that was going on in their home, because it could kick back up. If you're unfamiliar with what that is, folks, if you're just tuning in and finding me here live, you can follow me and then follow the series tab on my homepage that says Black Mist House. There are 13 parts to it. It doesn't take long, about 15 minutes to listen to the whole story from beginning to end. And you can hear about how I got involved with a very scary case that is now ongoing because the family started talking about it again and some things started happening, including a little baby getting up and out of its crib through like a baby-safe toddler net that's supposed to help keep them inside their crib. The net was unzipped from the outside, and Mom found the baby downstairs in the kitchen, where a tremendous amount of the paranormal activity in that house was occurring. So we will be going back there. I'm going to lend them some security cameras that they're going to hook up to a device, and we're going to record their house for a little bit and see if we can't catch some of these things happening. And then from there, because what I didn't do as far as a cleansing fully work, I'm going to call in some big guns, some people that I know that are local here and I've worked with before that know how to cleanse a home up, down, left, and right, and we'll see if we can't get whatever's there out. But we'll see. They have another year on their lease before they can leave, and we have to make it as safe an environment for them, their kids, as possible. The baby is, I call him a baby, he's 2 years old. Now, what else is interesting about that house? There was more that was to that story with photographs, but I did not add it into the story because it's very triggering and very alarming, and it includes a dog getting hurt. And this is a very good family. They're good people. They have given me no reason to believe that they would hurt any animals. They adopt their dogs. They love their dogs. The dogs are well taken care of. But they called me one day and said they came home and found their dog beat up, and it was heavily bruised. And it was not from falling down the steps, that's for sure. Something really happened to this animal that the vet was concerned about the dog in the home, but the other dogs were fine. There was no other issues. So I did not add that in the TikTok series because it was, even for me, it was a lot. And it was like a little too much for me to want to put out on the internet. But I'll talk to you about it here. That story happened in a town down the road from here called Keansburg, New Jersey, which is heavily, super duper creepy haunted. I have a story that I'm going to curate here in about a week or so, after the Black Mist House kind of dies down, about a home that I went and visited several times. And if you think the Black Mist House was a crazy story, wait until you hear this story in its entirety. It is one of the wildest things that I have ever come across. And that's saying something, because I've been involved in some shish before. Right now, I am hanging out at what they call the Dempsey house here in Leonardo, New Jersey. And I'll take a wide pan here. You can see it's condemned. Folks, if you're going to go ghost hunting or urban exploring and you see a red X on the building, don't ignore that. It means the building's condemned. It means it's not safe, and going inside is a true hazard to yourself. So if you see a red X, stay out of it. The folks who put those up there are engineers, and they know what they're talking about, and they want to keep you and the community safe. So unfortunately, this building is condemned for the time being. Who knows how much longer it will sit here, because the property here in New Jersey is worth so much money at the time. So you never know. There could be a tractor in front of this joint tomorrow and could be getting knocked down. I have no idea. That's a motivating high and tight. Thank you. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm also a former United States Marine, and I keep my hair pretty nice as much as I possibly can. I went a little wild. The grays were really shooting out there. It was really bothering me, but I fixed it now. Just joined. This is in Leonardo, New Jersey. I always like to tell people that this is about a half a block or so away from the Quick Stop where Kevin Smith famously filmed Clerks. And he was just in town. He's got some other stuff going on around here, so I've always wanted to just be filming something and have this guy show up. That'd be fun. So anyways, yeah, that's the Haunted Dempsey house in a nutshell. The lore here, if you missed it, if you weren't here in the beginning, is that this is allegedly Mr. Dempsey, the man who owned the home, came home one day and massacred his entire family. And then the police were sent here on a welfare check, and they found him deceased by his own hand, along with all of the dead family. And the police officer found the scene so grotesque and gruesome that he went outside to his police car, located a rope, and hung himself from one of the trees right up front here. And if you go on Weird New Jersey, it's one of the trees that's right here. Somebody snapped a photograph, and allegedly there's a noose hanging from that tree where you can see allegedly that the police officer had done that. So it's pretty interesting. You know, that's a scary story. I don't like getting involved in that part of it. But that is what it is. That's part of the lore here of the Dempsey house. So I hope you like that. Now I'm going to stand up and see if I get any vibes here. I'm kind of dumb. What's phylogeny? Phylogeny. I'm going to have to look that up. Yeah, there's a lot of scary energy here. This is the first time I've ever spent an extended amount of time here. Usually it's very overgrown with weeds, and it looks like pretty recently they probably cleaned it up a bit. Hey, what's up in Flemington? I investigated a house in Flemington, the Amwell house in Flemington, New Jersey. It was pretty scary there. We found some shoes in the floor, which we know that's pretty creepy. Wolves at the back door. A man who lost everything. Yeah, it was an interesting thing for sure. So if you guys are interested in all this kind of stuff and you like these sorts of stories, do me a favor and follow along here, and I'll do more. I have a YouTube video series on, not series, I think it's just one video on this place. So if you go to my YouTube channel, Scotty the NJ Medium, still over there on YouTube, you can find my my video on this place, and I talk about it, just some of the lore. Somebody said, can I find anything else on it? Yep. What does the black mist mean? It happened to me. So I don't know if there's any definitive answer of what the black mist actually is, but normally when people report black mist, or when I've seen black mist, nothing good follows it. It's usually something darker, heavier, and more malevolent, something that may be looking to cause trouble and stir up trouble in your house or on the location that it's in. So that's something to look out for. Well, I have you here. Hi, California. How are you? Well, I have you here. I hope you like the way that I tell stories and the way that I bring them to you, because in the next month or so, I'm going to be filming with a crew for a TV show that premieres out there on Travel Channel. I'm not allowed to say too much about it yet, but I can tell you that it didn't happen far from where I'm standing right now. It involves some really scary stuff. Which I will articulate that when we're filming, and hopefully you'll all tune into the Travel Channel when that premieres and check it out. If you are just finding me here, you can also find me on the latest season of A Haunting, Season 11, Episode 8, The Devil's Dolls. So if you're into really creepy stories like that and you like me, maybe you'll like watching some of the shows that I'm on. And I'm also working on producing a full series that hopefully will get picked up, and you'll see my shiny, happy face on one of your streaming services or on Travel Channel or something in the near future. Hey, what's up, Steph? How are you? I keep finding dimes all face down. Any meeting kind of freaking me out. So I don't think that them being face down means anything in particular. Maybe it's just somebody leaving them for you. I always have stories for everything, right? In Wilmington, North Carolina, there's a house they call the Dime House, and they find dimes everywhere, and allegedly they're left behind by several children who had passed away in the home 100 years ago. So they lovingly call the house the Dime House, and they think that the children leave the dimes. So that's interesting. So yeah, I think the dimes being face down doesn't mean too much. Just be happy that the spirits are leaving you money. And I always say, ask for $1 next time. That's the way to look at it, right? If they're leaving you pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters, ask for money. Ask for paper money, folks. If ghosts can do it. Oh, you live in Wilmington, North Carolina. That's awesome. I lived there for a couple months when I was in the Marines. When did you first experience your gift or start exploring it? So I first experienced this gift when I was about 4 years old. My parents would chalk it up to imaginary friends until one day I gave them undeniable proof that I was speaking to somebody by picking out an old woman in a lineup that I said I was speaking to in person. She had passed away several years prior to me saying that she was standing with me, and then I was able to point her out. So that's when it first started to come through as a real thing. And then in the last 10 years or so, I really started to pick this up and do the things that I do now. So thanks that was a really great question. I appreciate you. I find pennies around my house everywhere. So ask for bigger denominations, and keep the change somewhere. You never know what that might amount to. Maybe they're giving you money to save up for something. Hey, what's up, Red Bank? How are you? Red Bank. That's another awesome haunted place. There was a tea shop there that I did some readings at for a while for the owner, who was very nice. And they had a ghost named Maria who would walk through the shop. She was nice. What about miracles? I believe in miracles. I believe that every day waking up is a miracle, even when things are not wonderful, even when the world is in chaos like it is right now. Speaking of which, my heart goes out to all those people over there in Ukraine dealing with all that craziness and the terribleness and the atrocities. I don't like to get too political or get off the paranormal here, but my heart certainly does go out, and I just want to say some prayers for them as well. So miracles do happen, and let's say some prayers for those folks as well, right? What do you think about mirror spirit games where you call on a demon for a gift? First off, I'd never, ever, 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 ever want to call on a demon for a gift. I would never want to ask for a gift from something so terrible, because there would definitely be repercussions on the back end. Mirrors as portals, absolutely. Be careful what you're doing with those mirrors, scrying and all of that. You never know what you're going to call in from the other side and get it stuck to you by accident. I saw a red orb up on my ceiling. It moved across my ceiling and out my window. That's interesting. Did you have any other kind of paranormal stuff that happened along with that? If you did, I'd love to hear about it. Anybody looking to set up a reading with me, you'll notice that I will never ever slide into your DMs and I'll never solicit them. If you ask me how to get in touch with me, please just go to ScottyTheNJMedium.com, or you can go into my link in bio right here on TikTok, click the email button, and send me a message asking to set up a reading. I will be setting up readings here very soon. Somebody's playing some very lame music out of their very lame vehicle. How do you know if you have an ability? I found out... Oh, there's birds above me. So I found out just by talking, basically like being given information I couldn't explain and then validating it and trying to disprove what I could do over and over again until it became very apparent that I could just do it. Oh, thanks, Mindy. People are walking by. So, do you connect on these lives if you get a connection? I do, yes. I just read up on the house you're at, and it said after he killed his family, he hung himself. The one that I heard, maybe they changed it because of... but growing up, and for sure, the ones that I read were that the police officer killed himself. But maybe they changed it for reasons. Oh, you're welcome. I love coming here. I had a friend who saw my great-grandfather who had passed years before. Oh, that's awesome. They probably had a gift, and I'm sure your great-grandfather was coming to say hello. So last night I did a reading for some folks, and this gentleman, the first person to come through was a gentleman, and he was playing the piano. And he made it very apparent that that was like the most important thing. He's an older gentleman playing the piano, and he was a teacher, like a piano teacher as well. And I said that, and it was a mom and a daughter, and the daughter laughed, and she said, "That's my best friend's grandfather. He was a piano teacher," and she had been hearing the piano herself. So her friend's grandfather came through in the reading just to say hello and let everybody know he was doing okay. So that's really interesting when they do that. At work, I heard a person's voice, a friend's voice, and no one was there. So is your friend still with us, or are they deceased? Why doesn't everybody have experiences? I think that many people do, and they discount them as they should. They should absolutely rationally discount all paranormal experiences. And oh, thanks for the music notes. I appreciate you. They should rationally try to explain the things that are happening around them until they can no longer come to a conclusion that is rational and it becomes supernatural. I think the more open you are and the more you get into the paranormal and having these experiences, the more that it will happen to you. My dad passed away. I'd love to do a reading of my dreams. Oh, I'm sorry about your dad passing away. Yeah, you can go to my my email and ask for a reading. Can you say something about the Hat Man? Saw him once. Yeah, so I had a very interesting experience with the Hat Man. Traveling across the country with a buddy of mine who was moving from here in New Jersey out into Kansas. We stopped at this hotel in Ohio. And in the middle of the night, the TV clicked itself on. And then I opened my eyes as the TV was starting to make noise. And behind my friend, up against the big picture window that led out into the parking lot, there was this giant, like 6-foot shadow, 7-foot shadow, wherever it was, standing over my friend. It was a solid black mass and had a big hat on. And I looked at my friend and I said, this place is haunted. And I said it loud enough for him to hear and wake him up. And he looked at me and he said, "I don't care." And he went back to sleep. And I had a horrible night of sleep from there. And then we continued on our way. Other than that, I have had no experiences with the Hat Man. It seems like anytime he shows up, it's not good. And the type of hotel that I was in, I would imagine that many bad things had happened there. It was one of those places on the side of the road. It's like $38. See yourself out in the morning and bring us your blankets, So, Wilkie Kelly says your friend is still with us. Oh, thanks for the... Wow, that intricate pirate ship. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's a horrible friend. He's all right. He's a Marine and a police officer, so he's very rational thinking. He doesn't like hearing all my nonsense. So in any case, If your friend is still with us, I'm not sure why you would hear their voice. Maybe it was somebody mimicking his voice to get your attention, and the quickest way to our heartstrings and to our attention is to sound like somebody that we love or know, right? How do the readings work, on the phone or video chat? I do on video chat through Zoom. And somebody had asked me how that works. I don't know the mechanics of it, folks. It just works. I've done readings I'm in New Jersey here in America. I've done readings for people in Scotland, Ireland, Switzerland, Germany, all across Europe. I've done readings for people all over the world through phone or Zoom. So it's a pretty incredible thing. The energy just works. I would assume that even if somebody was calling from space station or the moon, it would still work. It doesn't matter. We just connect through energy. Do you read for other mediums? I do. Yes, of course. Why is it when someone passes, you see them either driving by or see their looks in other people? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, I guess when you mean somebody dies and you kind of feel like you just saw them. That might just be your brain wishing to see them, wishing to see somebody you love. I don't know that that's supernatural or paranormal. It might just be a normal reflex of our brain to want to remember our loved ones or friends. So I would say that that's probably more like that, because I do that myself. I understand that. How long have I been doing this? I've been doing this professionally in public for about 7 years now. But I've had this gift my entire life. And in the last 10 years is when I really started to hone in on it and get it to where it's at now. So thanks for those great questions. I wrote a letter to a mean boss who passed to leave me alone. Now I have sleep paralysis. So now, wow, that usually works. I would do it again and tell them to leave you alone. If that doesn't work, get yourself some handy-dandy selenite, which, if you don't know where to get selenite or a piece of selenite like this, you can go to my link in bio and order from my Amazon store. It's I think it's $12. So it's a pretty good deal. And I get a little tiny fraction of that. So this selenite is good for cleansing negative energy, keeping bad stuff away from you. And that's why I have it in my pocket right now, because if anything did come of this, I wanted to make sure that I could wave them away and keep myself clean and protected. And it's one of my favorite things. I also use it while I'm holding it to do readings as well. It can be a gift and a curse as well. It's a gift when you're using it and you're wielding it. It's a curse when you're not doing anything with it, because the gift is kind of controlling you, and that's why it's a curse. So when you're going to bed at night and the ghosts and spirits are bothering you, they're going to keep bothering you until you give them the help or attention that they want or need. There are ways to completely cut it off, but it's kind of difficult to do if you're a very naturally talented and gifted medium. So I've been told that our family had gypsies. Oh, maybe. I'm not a gypsy. I'm very European. I don't know if that means anything. I feel like it does. We have a lady in our town who's a very gifted tarot reader, and I would say that she's probably gypsy. And not in a negative kind of way. I don't want to get in any trouble here. Everybody is the same. But if you talk that way, that's how I feel. Yeah, so one threw a cross of your face. That's crazy. Did you ever hear of Pottersville off Lundy Road in Wawarsing, New York? I haven't, but I'm going to screenshot this so I don't forget it, and I'm going to look it up. Screenshot. Thank you for saying that. I'll check it out. Whoop, don't fall. Anybody who's just tuning in, my name is Scott. I am a medium. I'm hanging out here at the very haunted Dempsey house. And if you are just tuning in and maybe you'd like to see this again, I always take these live broadcasts. I download them. It's called TikTok Talk. And I put it on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook, so that if you want to watch the whole broadcast over again, you can certainly go ahead and do that, and I appreciate it. Oh, thank you for ordering from my Amazon link. I appreciate you. I try to let everybody know that I'm not here to peddle anything or sell my services. I genuinely just love doing this. I have enough people who need readings that I don't need to come out here and solicit But I do have things that I do believe in. The things in my links are things that I use every single day. And if they can help you, then cool. And if I can make 50 cents off something, wonderful, because it all goes back into this. Speaking of which, if you have sent me a gift during this live that we're doing, when my gift meter goes up to $100, I donate it all to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So when I got on here, I was at like $96. So as soon as I hit $100, all the gifts donated to me get donated over to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, because I love kids and I hate thinking about sick children. It breaks my heart. And all those families that have that, they have my heart. And if I can help by just doing that, then that's what we do. So anybody sending me gifts, thank you so much. Just remember that anytime I hit $100, it goes right over to St. Jude's, and I appreciate you for donating. Thank you. If you'd like to set up a reading with me, you can head over to my link in bio, hit the little email envelope, and send me an email, and I will get back to you with some dates and times that I have available. My mom passed 2 years ago, and my dog barks at her bedroom all the time. So probably your dog is saying hello. I'm sure that your mom probably stops in to visit, check out her room that she was staying in, and the dog probably knows that she's there. So definitely say hi to mom. Does everyone have a guardian angel? Or yes, everybody has an angel or a guide, many guides a lot of times, and they do different things for us. Guardian angels sit a little bit higher and away from us, and I think that they intervene in our lives when it's absolutely necessary for them to do so. Why everybody isn't protected in every situation from bad things happening, I don't know. I don't have an answer, but I do know that several times in my own life, when I should not be standing here and talking to you now, something intervened and put me back on track, either spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally. Even one time I was about to crash my car, and I swear to you, the steering wheel started turning itself and put me into a rock parking lot, and instead of into a building. And that's interesting because the car I was driving was a 1982 Pontiac. So it didn't have all the bells and whistles of safety. It had no safety, actually. And for some reason, while I was in this spin out, thought I was going to die, I just let go of the wheel and it started turning on its own, and I ended up in a rock parking lot and safe. It's something I can't explain. And somebody asked about miracles earlier. That was a miracle to me. Do you feel like thoughts that we get are from those guides? Yes, 100%. So many times. Oh, there's a loud truck coming through. Let him pass and I'll answer that for you. So many times. Yes, your tow truck's very loud. So many times we get thoughts or inklings of things that we want to do, and that's where it comes from. Our guides want to guide us, and they give us the idea like it's our thought. So you know when your significant other doesn't want to clean the house, but you kind of drop hints here and there, and then eventually they're like, hey, we should vacuum, or we should do the dishes. And you're like, well, you should do the dishes. And you're like, you know what, that's a good idea, I'm going to do. So it's sort of like that. They work in those kinds of ways. How do you know who your guides are? Well, you can go ahead and everybody thinks that this speed limit here is 25 miles an hour. These people are crazy. Connecting with spirit guides is meditation and just asking them to connect with you. And when you get the thing that most people get hung up on is, how do I trust that I'm actually speaking to my spirit guide? Well, that's where trust has to come in. You know, you have to trust yourself and trust the information that's coming through. Your spirit guides are 99.999% really great. They're really there for you. And that 0.1%, they might just be like, I have one that's, we don't get along because I don't do the things that guide likes me to do. So anyway, that's how you do it. You connect through meditation, for sure. Can a loved one stay here on Earth and stay with their living loved one? Yeah, so they'll come around, not necessarily as ghosts. They go to heaven or wherever you want to call the other side, and they come back to visit quite frequently, and then they go back. So in a reading last night, a woman's mom and dad came through. Mom, knew everything about what was going on in her daughter's life. Dad came through briefly, and he was like, I let mom come and report to me. She tells me what's going on. I don't really visit that often. So mom always was here, and dad stayed on the other side, and that's how they know what's going on here. Crazy, right? Do you really tell that one to go away? I've told people to go away. Do tarot cards work? Yeah, I read tarot cards. Tarot cards work if you put the effort into them and learn what each and every card means, the multiple meanings that they could have for the person. They could change from client to client for reading for yourself and for other people. So yeah, they work, but you have to put the time in to practice them and study them and understand them. As a matter of fact, if anybody's interested in tarot card readings or learning how to do that, probably by the end of the day today, I'm going to be announcing a class that's going to be given by my friend Twin Crows Tarot. She's a fantastic tarot card reader. It's going to be a 2-hour Zoom class, and it's I forget what the price was, $40, I think. And it's 2 hours. She's going to teach you a lot about the tarot, the basics of it, how to understand it, how to read them, and then answer all your questions. So if you're into that kind of stuff, make sure you just follow me here. And as soon as that link goes up, you'll be able to get in on that Zoom class, which is well worth it. Everybody liked it the first time we did it. Can you tell me if I have psychic abilities? Just by looking at you? Let's see. Raquel Michelle, I like your name. You seem to be very clairaudient, so you experience a lot of psychic phenomenon and thoughts. Just by looking at you, that was my intuition giving me that, so I think so. You're very welcome. You ordered a t-shirt, thanks. I appreciate it. My t-shirts are fun. They say, "Sup, ghost," and it's a ghost, and it says, "Sup. Sup, ghost." I wear it a lot when I'm ghost hunting. Somebody pointed it out to me that when I go ghost hunting, I have this proclivity of saying when I walk into a room, "Sup, ghosts?" And it was sort of started off as a joke, but then it became a part of my common vernacular every time I went ghost hunting. And somebody's like, "Put it on a t-shirt." And I was like, "I'm going to." And now we have t-shirts that say, "Sup, ghost." So thanks for ordering. I appreciate you. I have good energy. I like you. I like you too. Thanks. Yeah, I try to keep this stuff light, down to earth, and I try to make mediumship, psychic abilities, ghost hunting accessible to everyone. It's my thought that we all have a little inkling of this in us, and if somebody like me can keep it down to earth, friendly, user friendly, that more people will connect and be able to step forward into this spiritual light without feeling like they're gonna have to bathe in stones and do witchcraft and all that stuff, which is nothing wrong with that, but I'm like the first step into all of it, you know? And we keep it light and fun and entertaining and educational, just like school. Oh, I've dreamt of a house that's familiar, but I've never been to it in life. Any thoughts? So I always feel like those, because I have one of those houses too. It's a white house and it sits in the woods next to a creek. And I always feel like there's ghosts in the attic and something waiting for me in the basement. I've never been to this house in real life. I feel like it is my psychic house, my spiritual house, and I visit it in my dreams because it's a place where I learn lessons. So if you've been too afraid in your dreams to go into it, if you can think of it next time while you're sleeping, go into it and see what's in there. You might be surprised at what kind of gifts you will get from that house. There are things some can do, move from superficial telepathy to a higher level ability. Yeah, I don't have any telepathy. I wish I did. I would move things all the time, like with the Force. Bang! Just moving things with the Force. I can't do any of that. What about Dreamwalking? Yeah, that's something that I actually have a YouTube video that I called Dreamwalker. So you can check that out. Yeah, it's absolutely something that you can do. But you have to train yourself to be able to do it. And I try to make sure that everybody understands that we all have different levels of this stuff, right? So I'm not a good athlete at all. So I have friends that are really good athletes. And if I practice really hard, I might be able to be a quarter good as them. And they may not practice at all and just be rock stars at it, right? So I have a proclivity of being able to be very good at psychic and mediumship stuff. Some people may not be that good, but as long as you practice, you'll get better. I hope that helps and makes sense for everybody. It's a 2-story old hardwood floor of the grandfather clock. So that's your psychic house. So write those things down. Keep a dream journal and try to understand what those things mean to you. Might be some hidden meanings in some of that stuff. Mama Gina, I'm so sorry to hear about your sister passing away. Everyone has dreamt of her and you haven't. You may still have a high grief wall or a thick grief wall that she's not able to get through yet. What I would suggest doing is writing a letter to her and giving her permission to step over the grief wall to come and speak to you. And hopefully that will help her and allow her to come visit you in a visitation dream. And we'll say that you have permission, wherever you are on the other side, to do that. Missy Langley, I'm sorry, I didn't see what your question was. If you ask it again, I'll answer for you if I can. What's this say? If a dream contains snakes and people are these symbols to stay away. Yep, agreed. I don't know who Neri is. So this is a grief wall. Oh, here, I'll answer a couple questions. One, a grief wall is like when you're really sad that somebody passed away and you're finding that it's hard to even think about them without becoming sad and teary-eyed and feeling that pressure inside your body that just wells up and turns into overwhelming emotion. That's the grief wall. And sometimes it's so thick and tall that it's difficult for even a very gifted medium to get over it in order to contact the people that you love that you want to speak to. So you have to, not that there's any wrong or right way to grieve. There isn't. It's very personal, clearly. And what I say is that the sooner you deal with the grief that you're having and let it go and put the baggage from it down, the easier it will be for that person to get through that grief wall and contact you, either directly or through a medium. For clairs, I see people asking, like, what clair should I work on? So anybody who doesn't know, there's several different clairs that we all possess. Some of them are different than others. Some people have them stronger and weaker than others. My two main clairs are clairvoyance, where I can see, and clairaudience, where I can hear really well. I have clairsentience, where I can feel. Then there's two other ones that I can never remember how to pronounce off the top of my head. One is tasting, one is smelling, and then I'm also a psychometrist, which means that I can pick objects up and read the energy off the object, okay? So you have to decide for yourself what kind of learner you are normally. What of your senses do you use to learn? My son is a very visual learner, so if I put visual things out in front of him, he can learn and pick them up very quickly. My 5-year-old daughter is a auditory learner, so if I speak to her and I speak to her about the alphabet or numbers, she will remember those things, hearing them better than she will seeing them. And those are the two top ones that I can explain really well. So if you're a very visual learner, your clairvoyance will be stronger. If you're a very good auditory learner, then your clairaudience should be stronger. Then as far as clairsentience goes, that is your intuition. Are you really good at picking up the phone and saying, I think Jim is going to call, and then Jim calls like 3 minutes later and you haven't talked to Jim in 6 months? That's your clairsentience or your clairessence. Those are the things of clear knowing and understanding. And once you start listening to those more often, the better you will get at using those abilities for doing mediumship and psychic readings. I hope that stuff helps. That was a lot in one bundle, right? How's the Black Mist House doing? So I just wrapped it up for today. I did a 3-minute long video on the wrap up, but I'm going to have to go back and drop security cameras. Sorry, it's a big truck. I'm going to have to go back and drop security cameras off to the house because they're having activity again, and I'd like to try to capture some of it. Then we're going to do a full-on electronic investigation, and then I'm going to have some people that I know come in and do a full cleansing up and down, left and right, top to bottom, and make sure that house is clear for the next year until that family's lease is up. So that's how it's going. So if you're new here and you want to know what the Black Mist House is, you can go to my bio, click on the series tab. It says Black Mist House. It's the first one. Click on that and watch all the videos and let me know what you think. Do you do readings? I love the story about the ring aluminum. Yes, I do readings. You can email me at scottynjmedium@gmail.com or go to my link in bio, click on that, and hit the little email button in there and send me an email. I bet my wife wishes she had clairaudience. So anybody who doesn't know what the foil ring was, an interesting one from this week. I had a gentleman come through from the other side, and he was talking about a flimsy silver wedding band, and I said it to his daughter, I was on a Zoom link with, and she was like, I don't know anything about a flimsy silver wedding band. I'll have to think about it. The next day, she sent me a photograph, and it was her father's hands. Oh, sorry, there's another truck passing. Very busy down here today. She sent me a picture of her father's hands, and on his hands was a silver ring, but the ring was made out of tinfoil. When he went to renew his 70th wedding anniversary vows, his hands were too swollen to put on his regular wedding ring. So somebody crafted him an aluminum foil wedding band so that he could renew his vows with his wife. So romantic, swoon, 100%, 120% amazing validation and evidence from the other side, talking about something so random and obscure, by the way, that it had happened like many years ago. So crazy, right? Isn't that something? So if you want to see that story and hear it told again, you can go into my videos. It's down probably about 8 or 10 videos from right now. I had scratches appear on my window at the inside of the panes. It looks like skinwalkers. Any idea? I don't. I'd have to investigate it myself and come to a conclusion. I often say this about being a paranormal investigator. I believe every single thing you're telling me, but I have to investigate it for myself to understand it from every angle. So when people tell me stories like that, real briefly, I believe that you believe it, but I would actually have to check it out to know what we were dealing with. Just because I say I am Scotty the Medium, it's very important for people to know that I'm also very evidence-based. So that means that I have to go to locations. I have to rule out all of the regular stuff first. Like if you've ever watched Ghost Hunters, those guys, their angle of ruling things out, that's what I do. I show up, I point out all the things that knock down the supernatural and paranormal claims, then we move into the supernatural, anything that we can't explain. So that's really important. Could I possibly have a grief wall up after 16 years? Absolutely. If you've still been holding any of that in, it's time to let it go. And, you know, if you feel like it's time to do that for sure. Oh my gosh, you cursed somebody. I wouldn't do that. Just keep it like this. And I believe this fully. Any ill intention you put out towards somebody else, you're probably going to get back on yourself at some point. There is no give and take where you just give and don't get anything back. I actually wear this really funny, this necklace right here. It's a symbol I loved for my entire life. It used to be black and white, but it's a yin yang, right? And it's a really neat thing. I'm sure you're all familiar with it, where you give and take. It's the black and white, the good and the bad. You can't put things out without getting something back. So I'm more apt to put out lots of really good things with minimal negative, because I like getting good things back. But that's not the whole reason I do it. I put it out there because that's the right thing to do, and good things just tend to happen back. And that's the way I think you should do it. Old Spirit, New Journey. My daughter sees people in her window on the second floor. She says they don't like her anymore. So what I would suggest for you to do is to set up a camera and watch that window and see if anybody spiritually comes. Are there any interesting anomalies that happen? What time of day does it happen? Take notes. Ask your daughter if she can articulate, if she's old enough, like what are they wearing? What do they look like? Eyes, hair, clothing, all those things. Think like you're a detective and ask a lot of questions and tell your daughter you believe her, but you need to get all the facts, right? And that's how I approach every single investigation. You're very welcome. I always feel like I'm being watched in my sleep, so I shut the curtains. I do the same thing. I don't like anybody looking at my window, and I don't have anybody that could possibly look in my windows, but I feel the same way. Now my hair's going to be stuck up. Yeesh. Scott Michael, what's up? What's up, Trini Ars? How are you? Long time no see. All right, folks, it is about time for me to say adieu, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, see you later, because I got to go pick my son up from school. If you'd like to check out this entire podcast, this entire live broadcast, it will be available sometime tomorrow on my YouTube channel. You can see how the Mel meter reacted when we put the camera on it, and the numbers would just dissipate for no reason. Some possible EVPs, and please listen back to the Echo Vox session that we ran and see if you can hear any voices that we didn't pick up the first time. That would be really amazing if you could do that. Until then, I gotta say goodbye. It's been a really great time hanging out with all of you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. If you haven't done yet, please do me a favor, give me a like, follow, and share, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later.